Okay, hi guys, let me adjust my camera a little bit. Okay. It's Diane with Southern City Gurl. I told you I was going to come back today and do some dressing for you that's really quick. You can even do this an hour or two before you put your food on the table. This is how good and how quick it's going to be. Trust me. I'm from the South, so I know what good Southern cornbread dressing is. I've made it all kinds. I've made it stuffed in the turkey. I've made it in the oven. I made just cornbread dressing. I made Jiffy cornbread in a pinch. But if you're really in a pinch, I did this one other time and it really turned out good. And I was really impressed with it, so I thought I would show you guys what I did to help speed up a little bit of the process for you, especially there's so much going on. And I know this is just my second video, and I just wanted to let you know that right back here is all of our water. Keep in mind now, we live in a fifth wheel. And there's a lot of places that I can't find to put anything, and we don't want to keep our drinking water outside. We do have a Berkey filter that we do filter it sometimes. So, you see that over there? That's what that is. That is our water that we drink. Okay, guys. I really had a rough time getting this started right now, but we're going to go with the flow and just see what happens, okay? Alright. Now, before I show you what I'm going to use as my base here, especially you Southerns are going to frown on me and you're going to say, I cannot believe you're making that for Thanksgiving dinner since you're a Southern. Well, I am. I'm doing it for everybody because our days are just crazy running around trying to get everything done. Now, what I'm going to do is, yes, I am using this Jiffy cornbread mix today. But it's not going to be like just regular Jiffy cornbread. It's not going to be exactly the instructions on the back. So let me get started and let me show you what we're going to do. First of all, you're going to open your box of Jiffy cornbread mix. And you're going to put it in whatever bowl that you want to mix it with. Now the bowl that I'm going to put it in right now, I'm going to show you. You're going to see me using this a lot in a lot of my cooking videos. Is this blue plastic bowl. It's just a blue plastic bowl. When Les and I traveled full time, we had to have really light stuff for the weight of the trailer. And if any of you know travel, you know what I mean. And those of you that don't, you can't have too much weight. You can't pull too much weight. You can't pull much more weight than what your truck will pull. You're going to have a lot of problems. So we have a lot of plastic stuff. This bowl, my daddy, when he lived with us, him and my mama, used it as popcorn. My grandsons used it with popcorn. We use it as popcorn. I use it to mix all kinds of stuff in. I mean, my main meals, my cornbread stuffings, whatever, my rices, my stuffed cabbage mix, all kinds of stuff I use it. So when you see this blue bowl, this is Papa's bowl. So this is what we're going to refer to it, Papa's blue bowl. Here we go. Okay, so now we've put in our first ingredient, which is 8.5 ounces of Jiffy corn muffin mix, okay? Now, don't follow the directions on here for this. Do what I'm doing. And if you don't like the way I'm doing this, that's fine. Like I said earlier, in my video, be yourself. Do what you like. Do what is easy for you. This is really easy for me right now. I mean, everything's so crazy. And I just thought I'd pass it on to you because I think it'll really help you this Thanksgiving if you haven't started a lot of stuff. Like I said, you could do this in probably an hour. Maybe an hour and a half, if even that. That would even be over more. On the day that Thanksgiving Day is, depending on what time you're going to have your dinner. Okay, so what we're going to add in here, we're going to add in 2 eggs. It doesn't matter, 2 large eggs, 2 medium eggs, whatever kind of eggs you have. Brown eggs, fresh eggs, store-bought eggs. And you guys, I don't have a garden to show you. Well, I kind of tried to grow tomatoes and other things. but it's really hard to do it in an RV park. I don't have chickens to show you. That's the closest to the chicken I can show you is an egg. So, okay, 2 eggs, and we're going to add a half a cup of buttermilk. Shake it up really, really good. Okay. Now, if we need more, we'll use more. But right now, it's only going to be a half. Okay, that's a half a cup of buttermilk. We're going to cut up 4 stalks of celery. 4 stalks of celery. Now I'm going to cut off the ends. Guys, like I told you, I live in an RV, so you're not going to be able to see everything. Every single thing I do, because my counter spaces are limited, but maybe I can bring you down here a little bit. Okay, so right over here, we're going to be cutting up our celery. Now I'm going to cut off the ends of these celeries right here. I don't want the ends in there. Now, you're going to see in some of my videos that I do, I keep all the ends of my onions, all the ends of my celery pieces, because I put them in my beef or my chicken bone stock that I make in my Instant Pot. And that will be one of my videos. So we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to slice down the middle of the big parts of the celery. Can you see what I did? I sliced down like that. Okay. I'm going to stack them together. And I stack them all together like this. Okay, let's see here. Okay. And then we're just going to slice it up. You can slice these as small or as big as you like. I like chunky vegetables in my dressings. That's just the way I like it, but if you want them small, you want them tiny, you want them cubed, however you guys want it, do it your way. This is just the way that I'm doing it right now. So, I'll just cut up some of these bigger pieces right here. Okay, so there's our celery. Now, let me stop real quick, and I'm going to show you over here in this pan right here. I have melted 2 sticks of butter. And that's what you need, is 2 sticks of butter. Put it in here and melt it. Now, as you can see that my butter got a little brown. That's not going to hurt it at all. As a matter of fact, it'll give it more flavor. Because, where are you guys at? Hi. Because when you brown butter, it gives it, your dish or whatever you have a nutty flavor. And it really is good. So that's going to add some flavor to it. Okay, let's get back to our chopping. Okay, there's my celery, so we're going to place the celery in my pan. Now guys, bear with me, because remember, this is just my second video. I did my first one earlier, and there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and you know what? That's life. That's what we are. Okay, now I'm going to put in 3 green onions. Now, I've already chopped these in half, but just say they're whole, okay? 3 green onions right here. So I chopped them in half like this. Put them side by side like that. And then I'm going to slice these however thick or small that you want. Now when I cut up these onions, the white onions, you could use yellow onions if you want. White is what I have, so that's what I'm using. It's going to look like a lot of onions, but keep in mind when you cut up onions and celery and cook them, especially the onions, they cook down. They shrivel and they shrink. Okay, so here is my 3 green onions. And I had a little piece of onion, so that's what I cut up there. Okay, so you want either 2 small onions or 1 large one. This isn't as large as the onion that I've seen, but this is what we're going to use. Okay, now I cut my onion in half right here, leaving, all right, I saved these two guys, onion skins, save them for your chicken or your beef bone stock. These have so many vitamins in it. You guys would not realize how many vitamins this has in it. And actually, it does help with the flavor a lot. So we're going to set that aside. Okay. So I leave the ends on right here. And I'll show you why. Because when I cut my onions, after I take the peelings off, okay, I want this attached so that when I cut this onion here, I want it to stay on the stem. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to slice it at the bottom all the way to almost the end of the onion. I don't want to go all the way through here. This is an easy way to cut it. If you have a different way that you like to cut it, and then I cut it in the middle. The same way, being very careful not to tear it off at the end, and then I cut it on the top. Okay, so I've got 3 slices there. One on the bottom, almost to the bottom, there, the middle, and the top. And then I'm going to take and go like this on the side, being very careful not to cut. And when you get to the ends, it's hard to really keep it all on there. So here, I did it there, I did it here, and I did it here. I sliced it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 slices across. It's all attached. Put your hand here, don't cut yourself. Hide your thumb a little bit. Cut down however thick. You can hold it like this too, that's easier for me. See, look how these are coming off like that, guys. So easy. I mean, this saves so much time cutting up onions. Now, when you get to the end, it's really hard. So what I do is I just kind of roughly chop them. Because remember, since we didn't slice all the way through, these aren't sliced good enough to come off as easy. So you just kind of roughly chop them up, however it's easy for you. Okay, we're going to do the other one. Again, take the skin off, save your skin, set it aside. Okay. And we're going to slice down this way. I did this first this time. I really should have sliced it down the other way first because it's easy. It's really easier doing it that way. Slice it like that. Then like that. I don't think I'm going to do the top this time, so I only slice it twice through the whole onion. Okay, cut it like this. Okay, when you get to the end, like I said again, roughly chop it. Again, guys, save these for your stock or your broth. Make some homemade stock, and I will have a video that will show that. Okay, there's my onion. Okay, put the onion in here. Okay. Now I'm gonna turn this up a little bit here. Okay, I'm using my electric skillet today, which is fine. Okay. Should get this out to begin with. Okay, so that's all that I need to cut up right now. We're going to let that saute. I'm going to get my stuff out of the way here. Okay, guys, I'm going to clean up a little bit and let the onions and the celery saute, and we'll be right back, okay? Okay, guys, I thought I'd bring you back a little bit and show you. I'm going to bring you down here and show you the onions and the celery that are sauteing. This is going to be probably your hardest part of making this dressing, is cutting up the onions, cutting up the celery, and sauteing it. This is going to be your hardest part, believe it or not. So we're going to saute these until they get nice and soft, and that's going to save some time cooking it, unless you... I like a little bit of crunch to my vegetables, so I don't like them, you know, real soggy. But okay, so now we're going to go on to the next step, because I wanted to bring you back here and show you that I add my seasonings into the onions while they are sauteing. Okay, so in here I got poultry seasoning. Now I do use a spike, they call it a spike, and in one of my videos I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. I use it for my, a lot of times for my dressings, if I don't have poultry seasoning. I use it for my chicken and dumplings. I use it for a lot, but I will show you in one of my videos what I'm talking about. So right now we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of poultry seasoning. Now you might not like as much as I do, but in my cooking experiences, what I've learned is that put a little bit more than what it requires, and it really gives us some good taste. Now, if you don't like sage, don't put any of this in there, because there is some, I believe there's some sage in the poultry, if I'm not mistaken. Sage can be very strong, so I'm just going to put about 1/4. I love sage. I'm going to put about 1/4 of a teaspoon of sage in here. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of parsley. And I'm probably going to add about 1/2 of a teaspoon of, you can use dried parsley, you can use fresh parsley if you want to, that's totally up to you. Okay. So remember, we did, because I don't know if I'll have time to get the recipe written down for you guys before Thanksgiving, so please, this is what you're going to have to do. 3 sprigs of green onions, 2 very small onions or 1 large onion. I only had a medium onion, so that's all I could use today. And about 4 stalks of celery. Chop them up however, whatever size you want to chop them up, but you could go back and look at the video again how I did it. And you want 2 tablespoons of poultry seasoning. You want 1/2 of a teaspoon of sage and 1 teaspoon of parsley. Mix it in, 2 sticks of butter, melt it in your pan, then put your vegetables in, your celery and your onions in here after the butter has melted. Then put all your seasonings in with your celery and your onion and your butter, mix them all together. The reason I put it in here with all the butter and not in the mix is because I think that it incorporates a lot better into the mix itself. And when this gets pretty much done, we're going to taste it to see if we need to add any more salt or any more flavorings. I don't think we need to add any more, but we're going to taste it to see. Now you got to keep in mind, everybody's taste buds are a little different, so you're going to have to taste this when you get everything mixed together and see if it's okay. If you want to add more salt or if you want to add pepper. I haven't added any salt. Let me do this. I'll just taste this right here. Okay, it does need some salt, guys. So, let me add probably, now remember, you cannot take the salt out, but you can always add more, so start out real slow, okay? I'm going to do 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add 1/2 of a teaspoon. I'm going to turn my fire down a little bit. Now I'm using my electric skillet, so I had it all the way up on high, which was about 400. So right now I'm going to turn it down to about 250. You don't want all your butter to go away. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to turn it on warm right now because my vegetables are done. So just keep it warm. Don't keep it on high or your butter might burn more. Okay. So I got 1/2 a teaspoon of pepper. Now that's all I'm going to put in there, and we're going to stir it around again. Make sure it gets all mixed in real good with the onions, the celery, and the butter. Your salt and your pepper. And again, guys, please forgive me for not having the recipe done. I did this on a quick notice, thinking that maybe I'd show you guys how I do this, because Thanksgiving is like 2 days away, and I'm hoping it'll help some of you guys. Okay, let me taste this again. Okay, that's good. It's just a little salty bit. Once you get it all mixed in with the cornbread mixture, it's not going to be that salty. You might even need to add more salt later. It's up to you how much you want in there. Okay. Now, earlier I started a little bit too early on this, so I had to stop. But I put in, remember I put in the 1 box of 8.5 ounces of Jiffy corn muffin mix. I did not follow the directions on here. Don't follow the directions. Do what I'm doing. I put that in here. I put 2 eggs. You can use large, you can use medium, you can use small eggs, it doesn't matter. And I put in a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Okay, I'm going to mix it around. Mix all that around really good. So you get all the buttermilk and the eggs mixed in there real good. Now mix this around before you add your vegetables, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. Here's the exciting part. Okay. We're going to take our vegetables and we're going to add it to our cornbread mix. Yes, we're adding it to the uncooked cornbread mix. Okay, let me put this over here. Get it out of the way. Now, we're going to mix all this right here, all that butter, the vegetables. You're going to mix all this together. Now, what I'm going to use to put it in, you do not need to oil it, you do not need to butter it, grease it, because there is enough grease and oil in here. Okay, see how that's all mixed together like that? Looks disgusting, doesn't it? Guys, I do not like mushy cornbread. I've seen people put so much liquid and so many eggs, and that's fine. If that's the way you like real mushy cornbread. I don't like real dry cornbread. I like it just right. And honestly, sometimes my cornbread doesn't turn out exactly the way I like it, but it is edible. Okay. I really don't know what size of pan this is. I got something on the bottom here. Hang on a minute. I don't know what that is. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, I'm not really sure. Gosh. But pour it in a pan around this size. Maybe a 9x13 pan will do 2. That might be good. Okay, so I've got all this right here. Okay. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to put it on the oven for 400. Now, let me explain something to you guys. Okay. Beans I live in a fifth well. This oven here is extremely small. I've never used this oven to cook with. We did with our other pull behind trailer. I used it a lot. The oven. I have a really nice convection oven that I use, and that's what I'm going to be cooking this dressing in. But I have noticed that I have to raise the temperature 25 to 50 degrees more than a normal oven on my convection oven. So if your recipe calls for 350, then I would go up to 375 to 400. Every oven, every stove is different, no matter whether it's a propane stove, a gas stove. I've noticed that when I use the propane stoves, it takes longer to cook. Propane takes a lot longer. than the regular gas stove. But that's what I'm using as my convection oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here, in my convection oven. And I'm going to put my timer, I'm going to do it for, I'm going to start out at 400. And then I'm going to cook it, start out with 35 minutes. Now, I'm timing this so I can kind of give you guys an approximate time of how long this is really going to take you to do it. Now remember, because your stove and your ovens vary, you're going to have to watch it. I can give you an approximate time of what I'm doing, but you're going to have to watch your own stove, check your food, whatever it is you're cooking, to see if it's getting done. You might have to put your temperature down. If you cook, you know exactly what that is, but if you're not really a cook and you're just starting out, I would put your regular oven on 350, and I would cook this for at least 40 to 45 minutes. Don't burn it, but let it get really nice and brown on the top. And a convection oven, I'm starting out at 400. Halfway down, I might go to 375. I'm not sure. You know, it's really weird. Sometimes this oven, even when the weather is different, like right now, it's really gloomy and a little bit of rainy outside. It seems like this oven cooks different when it's hotter outside, or when the weather is overcast like this and rainy. If any of you guys have an experience with convection ovens like that, or propane ovens, or even regular ovens, let me know, because see if I'm not the only one that has that weird going on thing. But I am, like I said, I'm timing it for you guys so that I can tell you approximately how long it would take. So if you need to do it the day of your Thanksgiving dinner because you forgot to dry out your cornbread crumbs, this is really a good idea, guys. This, I mixed everything in with that Jiffy corn muffin that you saw me do that. I did the spices, I did the celery and the onions in with it. Everything is mixed all in with the cornbread batter. Put it in the pan, put it in the oven, and it's cooking. And when it gets done, what we're going to do is we're going to wait till it gets nice and brown on the top. That's one of the good things. Don't burn it. Please, don't burn it. Because if you burn on the day of Thanksgiving, it's going to be sad. Because you've got to have dressing or stuffing on Thanksgiving. So, when it gets done, what we're going to do is we're going to take it out. We're going to fluff it up. Okay? And then we're going to taste it. And we're going to see if it needs any more seasonings. And then we'll go from there. If it needs more seasonings, we'll put more seasonings. I don't really think it's going to. But we'll see. And I might need to put a little bit more liquid in there. And at this time, I'm not going to put buttermilk. I'll probably put chicken broth in it. I've got some chicken broth that I bought at the store. I used all my homemade chicken stock the other day to make some meatball soup out of it. It's really good. I'll make it for you guys one of these days. Okay, guys, so I'm going to take a break here, and we're going to let that cook and watch the timer, and we'll be back, okay? All right, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back, and the cornbread Jiffy corn muffin mix dressing is done. So we're going to check it now, and we're going to see if we need to add any more seasonings, or if it's too dry. This is where you'd add your more liquids. Now look at that. See how nice and brown that is on the edges here? Let me get my pot holder here. Okay. Lift it up right here. Okay. It's very, very, very hot. I have my little red thing under there. You can see that. It's not sitting on my counter. You can't put hot stuff on these counters here. Okay, now see how nice and brown that is? Okay, now what we do at this point, just take your fork, fluff it. Now you're not gonna, you don't want it mushy, so you don't want to keep stirring it and stirring it and stirring. I don't want it mushy. So you just kind of break it up a little bit like this. Look how beautiful this is turning out already, guys. Look at this. I cannot believe how easy this is when I did it before. I just loved it. And it just might be my go-to, but I do like regular cornbread. But this is not too sweet. Once you get your seasonings in here, look at this. Okay, now we're going to taste it and see if it's too dry. It doesn't look too dry to me. Now on the ends right here it does, but I love these little crispy ends there. And you might have a mixture of people that like dry, that like really moist. They can put gravy on it if it's too dry. Okay, we're going to taste it. Okay. I'll come over here to taste it to see if it needs any more seasonings. If I can get it. Okay. I would have put more sage and more poultry seasoning in it. So you taste this. As far as the texture, I mean, it's perfect. It is not too dry. I wish you guys could taste this. I really do. I mean, look, it is not too dry. It's not too wet. I mean, this is delicious, you guys. This is really good. But I think it does need some more poultry seasoning. And it does need a little more sage to my tasting. So at this point, guys, you taste it. If you want more sage, more poultry seasoning in it, if you want a little more wet than this, add some chicken broth that you can buy just by the store real quick. But I'm telling you guys, this is a super fast way for you to make your Thanksgiving stuffing or dressing for Thanksgiving if you're in a hurry. It comes out beautiful. So just, you know, guys, just try it and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. I'm just trying to help you guys a little bit because I know how hard it is on Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving week. We've all got so much stuff to do, and especially if you work. I don't work, well, I don't work outside the house no more. I'm retired. Yeah, I'm getting old. I'm pushing 70 years old, you guys, so I'm going to get there. Okay, guys, well, I hope you really enjoyed the shortcut for your dressing or your stuffing, and I hope I did help you just a little bit. And if you don't like it, don't make it, but just try it and just see. And but adjust the taste to your taste, guys. And always remember who you are, especially when you're around your family and friends. It's Thanksgiving. It's hard sometimes to be around certain people, but you can do it. You're amazing. You're unique. You have your own thumbprint that God gave to you. You're special. You can do it. Pray. Pray and ask God to help you before you even start, guys. You could do it. Okay? Always remember who you are. And always be kind. And always forgive. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving. God bless you all. Bye-bye.